Hello everyone, and thank you for joining us for the second webinar in our Back to Basics series brought to you by the EdTech faculty at Canisius College. My name is Lauren and I am the Assistant Director of Graduate Admissions. Throughout the webinar, please feel free to ask any questions that you may have using the questions box on your screen. We'll save time at the end to go over any and all questions that you have. Now I'll hand it over to Ron so that we can get started.
Thanks, Lauren. Hello, everyone. I'm Ron Kotlick, and I'm the director of the Education Technology program here at Canisius College. But I'm also a high school history teacher at Clarence High School, where I teach classes on American military history, AP World, the Civil War, and those types of classes as well. So I have my hats sort of in both rings, the higher education ring and also the secondary ring, just so you kind of know what my background is. So this particular session is going to focus on screencasting, how to make videos, really simple videos, by just basically recording what's on your screen and turning that recording into a file that can be shared with others. And we're going to dabble a little bit in the beginnings of what a flipped classroom is and how that might work using some of these technologies. So right now this is a Google sort of series. So I'm using a Google Doc to sort of share this out with you. And if you wanted to copy down this URL, you could, and you can then basically get access to this document forever. But also, if you don't want to do it right now, if you have a device, you want to scan the QR code, that will also take you to a document. And perhaps tomorrow or the next day, you will see an email from us where you'll get your certificate, and you will also get a video, because right now we're actually making a screencast of this actual broadcast. And you'll also get a link to this document as well. So if you don't want to write everything down quickly right now, you want to watch this later, or you just kind of want to sit back and relax and ask some questions later, that's fine. So that's how we're basically going to run this. Okay, and there's my email. If you have any questions, please feel free to email me, and I'd be happy to get back to you. I would say this is a Education Technologies promotional piece as well. We have a wonderful program that gives candidates a master's degree in ed tech. You can also receive a certification as an education technology specialist. So we have wonderful students in the program. It's a completely online program. So if you're still looking for your professional certification and you need a master's program, this particular program can actually fulfill those requirements. So there's a video. There I am. I'm sorry. And you can watch that video about our program. If you want to actually click this picture, this is a promotional card that gives you my email address, our Facebook feed, our Twitter feed, our YouTube channel, our blog, so everything that we do as a program, where we also offer resources. And one more thing I'm really excited about, coming this summer, we're bringing a Google EdTech Summit to Buffalo again. We did one last year, and it was held at Clarence Middle School. This year, we're bringing it back again in the beginning of August, and it'll be held actually at the college. So if you want to know more about Google, there's a wonderful summit where education around the world will be here in Buffalo doing everything Google, from docs, drive, sheets, Google Cardboard, screencasting, everything you ever wanted to imagine about Google. And it's for all levels, beginner, middle, advanced level, whatever you're, at this point in your career. And there's a great site right here if you want to click on this link, which will actually take you to the launching site for our summit. It gives you all the pricing and what's going to happen. So please take a look at that and share that with your colleagues. That would be wonderful. Okay, so we're also doing a Twitter hashtag. So if you want to follow us on Twitter, please do, Canisius EdTech. And here's our hashtag for everything that we're going to be doing, just as Canisius EdTech. So if you want to follow us and put a hashtag in there or mention us in a tweet, that'd be wonderful. And we'll certainly get back to you as well. So there's our Twitter feed if you want to scroll back up there. Okay, so let's get started. So what is a screencast? As I said at the beginning of this program, a screencast is basically taking a video of what's on your screen. So right now, I'm actually recording my screen. So everything I do, my cursor, everything that I'm moving, my voice is being recorded, and that's all being turned into a video. And that video can then be shared with others, students, faculty, colleagues, as a great instructional piece. So you can imagine that there's endless possibilities of using screencasting technology. And I'll show you how I use it with my students, and also show you some of the ways I teach my students how to make screencast. So this is a basic session. So let's just talk about the basic aspects of screencasting. And then I'll go into some options of what you can do later when you feel a little more comfortable with it. In the past couple of years, Screencast has come a long way, which now you do not have to even download anything. You could do it all from a web browser. So one of the first tools, this is really nice, is a tool called Screencast-O-Matic. If I click on this link, it will take you to the site Screencast-O-Matic, and basically all you need to do, it is free, and use this start recording. So I can press the start recording button. Okay, and it's going to like load up a little bit. The first time you load it, you might have to like just download some really quick. But now all of a sudden I have this option where basically it's recording my voice. Okay, I could put the webcam on, but I'm using the webcam right now for our webcast, so you can see me as well. But right now, if I did the webcam, I could just record the webcam, just my face, or I can record both the screen and the webcam, and there'll be like a little box, just like if I click right here, you can see me right now in this webinar. You would see a box of yourself at the same time you're recording the screen. So you don't have to actually use that, but that's an option as well. So let me get rid of that for a second. Okay, so basically now you can drag this around. If I press, record the screen, all right, and now I can, press down here the little record button. There's also a settings button. If I press record, it's doing 3, 2, 1. And going. Now it's actually recording everything that I'm doing. So I scroll through this, I go back to my Google Doc, and now anything that I do is being recorded. Now you can imagine what you can do with this. If you want to record directions for a project, if you want to put together a slideshow, whether it be a PowerPoint or a Google slideshow, and then record that slideshow as a means to present content to your students, that's another possibility. You can do it recording directions to a lab, how to do a math problem. I've seen a lot of teachers use this with their smartboard, where they actually write on the smartboard at the same time to record math problems and how to solve equations and so forth. So the possibilities are endless. Anything you might show your students on a screen in class, you can record. And once I'm done, and this is so it's at the bottom here, I can just press pause, I can press done, and now it's being recorded. So it gives you some options. You can save it as a video file, which is usually an MP4 file, which you can then put on your Google Drive. And I'll come back to that in a little bit. If you had a YouTube channel, you could upload right to YouTube and share a link to a YouTube channel, or you could upload it to Screencast's own service. Okay, so this is a free software. You don't have a lot of editing options. You can only edit certain sections if you want to like cut this down to only that part of the actual video, but the editing is very limited. The free version of this also gives you only 15 minutes. If you want to buy things like $15 a year, you have more options. Okay, so I'm just gonna add this here, and you could also do some other things. Only if you're a pro, you can go to like Google Drive. If you had the pro account, you could go to like Dropbox as well. Okay, so I'm going to actually close out of this because I don't really want to use this right now. I'm going to delete the recording, but that's how you use Screencast-O-Matic. So really nice, easy way to quickly record some things on your computer. Now, there's some other options as well. Now, we're all about Google. I should go back a second. Screencast-O-Matic can be used on any browser. So if you're a Internet Explorer user, a Firefox user, that's fine. You can use it on any particular browser. The ones I'm going to show you now are really more about the Google, I want to call it ecosphere, the Google sort of place to produce content. So these two tools, Screencastify and Snagit for Chrome, only work with using Chrome, Google Chrome browser. Right now, I'm using the Google Chrome browser, right? And you have to actually go and click on this particular link, and this brings you to the Chrome Web Store. This is a free web store that adds apps and extensions to your Chrome browser, okay? Now, if you have questions about that, I'll go over that again at the end. So mine's already added to Chrome, but if you were in Chrome and you click that link, it would say install on Chrome. And once you do that, I have a lot of extensions, but you'll see this little video strip, sort of film strip extension. Now that's installed on my browser. So it's really nice about using Google Chrome. If you're logged in, see, there's my name. Anytime you log into any computer, and you log into your account and you log into Chrome browser, no matter where you are, this will always appear. So it's kind of nice. No matter where you go, if you're using Chrome, you'll always have that. Okay, so that's a really nice thing to always think about. Okay, so I'll get out of here for a second, and I'll get out of this tab. So right now, if I press this button, this is Screencastify, and right now it brings up a little sort of options. Okay, let me go through these carefully. Tab. When you press this button, it will only record this tab on the browser, okay? So you only want to keep it to this one tab, it will do that. Now, if I wanted to also have a webcam on, I went in embed webcam, it would also show the webcam, my face in the bottom, usually right-hand corner, but you can kind of change it up. You can say, oh, I want to be in the top corner, the left corner, the right corner, you know, whatever the case may be. So sometimes you might want your students to actually see you in a webcast or in a screencast. It gives a little more of a personal touch to it. They can actually see your face at the bottom of it. Or if you're camera shy, which is certainly fine, you can turn that off. You don't have to want anybody to actually see you. They can only just see you. Okay, so that's one way you can actually do this. Now, when you hit desktop, which is kind of cool. What happens now is it's recording everything on your desktop. Okay, so every single tab, everything that you have open in your browser, if you want to switch between tabs, you want to go to this tab and you want to go back to this tab in your webcast or in your screencast, excuse me, it would do all of it. You could also select your microphone. I'll talk about microphones in a little bit. Right now, I'm using a microphone, but most PCs or Macs or Chromebooks have internal microphones, and for the most part, they're actually pretty good for just minor screencasting. Okay. Now, the other option is just the camera. Now, the camera option is kind of neat because the camera will only record what's on your webcam. And I'll show you that I use this a lot to give feedback to students. It creates a quick little, video of yourself talking about something. And that's another nice option as well, okay? So if we clicked here, you can also show that I'm logged into my personal Gmail account. You can do options and other things that they have here for you where you want to store your screencast. Now, right now, I have it set up that all that goes to my Google Drive. And we'll talk about sharing in a little bit. Okay, so let me go back to the screencast option, and I'll do a quick little one of my desktop. Okay, I'm going to go start recording, and it's going to ask me if I want to do screen 1, screen 2, share your screen. Okay, and I have a lot of things going on here, so I'll just pick this one from right now, my screen that I'm sharing with you guys, and I'll press share. And right now there's a little preview screen. So it shows you what I'm actually doing. And once I click, that will go away. And right now it's recording everything that I'm doing. So here I'm talking to you about the Buffalo Google Summit and how it's going to be such a great, awesome time. And you should definitely sign up and have everybody that you know sign up, which would be great. And we'll have a lot of fun in the summer, right? So now, if I'm done with my recording, and I see how the little red lights there shows that's being recorded, I just click on that extension again. And I go stop. Okay, and what's happens now is a tab comes up. And right now there's a little preview screen. So it shows you what I'm actually doing. Let me pause this. That's not me right now. That's my screencast. So I'll press play again. Click, that will go away. And right now it's recording everything that I'm doing. So here I'm talking to you about the Buffalo Google Summit and how it's going to be such a great, awesome time. And you should definitely sign up and have everybody that you know sign up. Am I having deja vu? Did I just say that? Well, I did. Now, I can name it. I could just call it webinar test. Okay, I go close. Now, once I name it, I don't know if you saw it, but right away, it shared it to my Google Drive. It's stored on Google Drive. So now, if you're in this Google world, we're using Google products, if you just click this link, it copied that link to my clipboard. And now you could post that link anywhere you want to. You want to post it on a Google Doc. You want to post it to your website. You want to share it through an email. And if I go to another tab and I just press paste, I just went Control V. That's all I did, paste. Now it brings up my webinar. Now what's happening now, this is going to their site, it's going to Google, it's being processed. But there's the title, webinar test. And in maybe about 5-10 minutes, it would actually be a video box. So maybe we can go back to it later at the end of the webinar so you can see what I'm talking about. So that is super easy. Now you have some options here. You want to crop and trim. And you can actually share. Do that. And right now I can crop certain areas. Now again, the functioning is kind of limited. There is a paid upgrade version that gives you more cropping options. Okay. I'll just go got it. Okay, I can like draw an area around my box that I want to actually crop and only use that part of the video, which is really kind of convenient. Let me just get out of that because I don't want to mess around with it too much. And right now, okay, and I could also download it, save it just to my hard drive. I could share it out, and right now I could even go to a YouTube channel. If I wanted to actually upload it to a YouTube account, I could. It's already shared on Google Drive automatically, so that's already like the default. Okay, and I could, view all my recordings, or I could throw it away. So that's super fast, just really quickly. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you what I use a lot. And what I use a lot is when I hit this button, and I just use the camera function a lot. We teach it online at Canisius, and what I do is I use this a lot for my replies to students, meaning rather than just typing a text reply to my Canisius students online, I like to give them a video recording of every single reply. So as they post the stuff for the week, for our class assignments, I always reply mostly through video, and it gives a nice personal feeling towards it. So right now, if I just press start recording, and I know my webcam's being used already, so it might not work. I'll show you examples of it. It's not going to work. My webcam share. And right now there's a little, sorry. My webcam is being used for this webinar, so it won't let me do it. But if I did that, it would just record my face talking to you in a nice personal way. All right, now, let me show you in Google Drive. So if you go to your Google Drive, once you install this particular extension, you're gonna have a folder. Let me make this a little bit bigger for you guys. And here is my Google Drive folder. And there's a folder now called Screencastify. I didn't make that folder. It was made automatically. If I go to my Google Drive and I just open this folder up, it's going to have all of my videos right there. There's one I just made. And what's cool, you can see the preview button. That means it's actually processed. These little people means that it's shared. The link was shared out. I have a sharing link on it. So if we had the session last week about Google Drive and Google Docs. We're going to do another session next week about Google Classroom and Google Drive. You can use these webcasts, these screencasts right from your Google Drive. Okay. Now, what I'll show you is how I do some of the face ones. I was just doing these today. I was replying to some posts of my Canisius students, and this is what they actually look like.
Hi, Nick. Great post this week. And your first couple sentences about how fast technology has changed and how dated some of the stuff was mentioned in the text. I'm always worried about the Anderson book.
Okay, I'll stop there. You don't hear me, too much here. But there's a great way offering feedback for students. You sign a project and you read through their paper. You offer them some video feedback quickly. How often is it so hard for us to teach, large class sections? I have over 125 students here at Clarence High School. I can't arrange video. I can't arrange personal conferences with every single student. There's not enough time in a day. But can I make a 1-minute video? Can I make a 2-minute video for each student after I grade a paper for maybe a larger assignment, not for every single assignment certainly, where they can go and watch it and so forth? Definitely. So you can see there's a lot of possibilities with this, certainly even with parent communication, especially if you're teaching in the younger grades. There's so much opportunity here to actually use this. Okay, so that's Screencastify. All right, very easy to use, very easy to install. The last one I want to talk about today for easy, just web, created screencasting tools is Snagit for Chrome. Now, Snagit is produced by a company called TechSmith, and if I go to the same link, it's the same Chrome web store. You have to add it to Chrome, and once you do, you'll see an S pop up. Now, I should mention that both Screencastify and Snagit for Chrome also work on Chromebooks. So if you're a Chromebook school, which we have a lot of Chromebooks here at Clarence, my students use these all the time. So they log on to their browser, Snagit and Screencastify is already preloaded for them. So we made sure that they already had that. Okay, so now once you install that extension, you'll see a little S. Now, what's cool about Screencastify, it is actually two tools. It's a screencasting tool, but it's also a screen capturing tool to do like images. So let's talk about screen capturing for images first. I'll just bring up I'll keep on using the Buffalo Summit. So I want to take a screenshot of this image and maybe annotate it. If I go to the S, if I go to region, what happened is I can snag this particular image. If I take a picture of it, And now this is like a snipping tool or any kind of annotation tool where now I could actually add stuff to it. I could add arrows. I could add text. Please register. I'm not begging. All right. And I could, circle some stuff. This is the date of the summit. I could add this, say that you want to collaborate on a colleague and mark up a document. Now, I use this a lot with my students for marking up images. I'll have them snag an image and they have to annotate the image, look at what's significant about a map or a political cartoon or a historical photograph. Again, the options here are limitless, right? For you yourself doing this as a teacher to mark up a diagram, a science lab, any kind of math sheet, or as students, doing this for themselves and use this as an assignment, this is great. And you can title it. You can title it whatever. I'll tell it just test for now. And when you're done, you have some options. There's these little dots here. Click on the little dots, and you can either download it, and it just saves it as a as a JPEG, excuse me. Or if you grab the link, it's the same as the other one. The link has now been copied to your clipboard. And if I go to another tab, and I just paste it in, and it's a shortened URL, and there's the image that I just marked up, right, moments ago. So I'll have students constantly, do this over and over and over again. So this is a great tool for them to actually use as they, want it for any kind of assignment. So that's kind of just screen capturing. Now, let's get out of here. And I'll go back to this website. Say I want to do a video, though. I go back to the S and Snagit, and I go to Screen. Now, it's just like the same setup as was for Screencastify. I get stuck with screen I want. I go to Screen, and now my screen, I go Share, is being recorded. So I go through all of this, and I'm recording, and I'm telling how great the summit's going to be in Buffalo, yada, yada, yada. And I just click Stop Sharing. And now it's here. And if I press play, you'll hear me again. Is being recorded. So I go through all of this, and I'm recording, and it's back live again. And there I am. Now it's the same idea. I can share it. I can send it right to YouTube. If you like to do animated GIFs, you can make it into an animated GIF. And then, or again, I'm talking about Google, right? You can send it right to your Google Drive link. And I go right to Google Drive and give it like a second. There'll be a link that will be copied to my Google Drive. There it is. And if I go to a new browser and I press paste, now that is actually a video. And it's got to process again. And once it's processed, it's all set. Now, again, if I go back to my drive, here's my Google Drive. Oh, wrong one. Let me get out of this one from the other one. Sorry. If I go back to my drive, okay, and if I go down here, there's a TechSmith folder. TechSmith is the company that makes this product. Open the TechSmith folder, and there's all my ones that I've just been making. There's the image that I just made. Okay, so I open that up. There's the image. And if I open this video, it's not processed yet, but it will be momentarily. And that would be the video that I just made. So it's great how these tools that we're talking about today work seamlessly with Google Chrome, and they work seamlessly with Google Drive. So once you get used to learning how to use these tools, it all really comes together. Okay, so those are some of the really basic things. Now I'm just going to show you, I'm not going to go into this in too much detail. There's also a lot of great software that's a little more heavy, that gives you a lot more options. And there's some great ones here called Snagit and Camtasia and Jing, and these are all produced by the same company, TechSmith. Snagit installs this little thing on your screen, and right now I can press record, and if I do that, it's fine. I'll press record, and right now I'm just going to do this. And it gives me the option. It looks the same as the other one, but I also can do a capture video, or I can capture an image. And there's just more tools here. So if I do a capture image, it brings up a much more sophisticated editor where I can do a lot of color changes and a lot of more drawing tools and commenting tools. And it's just much meatier. You have to install this either on your Mac or your PC. It also does cost money, right? So it's a great program, but it's just a little more involved, okay? So I just wanted to show it to you. The other one is Camtasia, and I'm actually using Camtasia right now to actually record my screen. And what Camtasia does, it's a much more sophisticated video editor. So if I go to my computer, I bring up Camtasia Studio, This is where you really want to edit video and layer video and do a lot of editing and making of clips. But I actually teach my students how to use this. And I could open any project. I'll open recent projects, and I hope it is here. Oh, it's not. Let me go to open a project. And I believe I go to my desktop. I'm so sorry. I thought I had this ready to go for you. I might not. Oh, I do. This is actually a project that a student did. I taught her how to do it. And it's okay. Oh, there is Battle Creator. There, open it. Hope so. Oh, it's not going to work. I lied to you. I apologize. If I go here, no, I know this is the actual project. Yes. And let me go back to my desktop. Bear with me. I want to show this to you really quickly. And okay. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to cancel this. I'm sorry. Let me cancel out of here. No. Okay. Let's just get all out of this thing. Here. Apologize. I created a problem here that's not going to go away. It wants to go through all of her stuff. And I don't want to do that. Alright. And I just want to stop. I'm sorry. I apologize. The point I was trying to show you is that you can create a timeline and put all these clips on a timeline. But again, the point of this webinar is basics. But the idea is that you can create really sophisticated screencasts that have multiple video tracks, that have layers on top of layers, that really makes a nice, polished piece of video. And it's not hard to actually teach your students how to actually do this. Let me get out of there. I apologize. So let me go back to my Google Doc. So those are some of the more sophisticated ones. Now here is a microphone. You can actually buy a microphone. I have some links to some really good microphones if you're interested in that. All right. Now, flipped classroom. What I do is I start using screencasting as a way to create a flipped classroom, where rather than me giving direct instruction about a certain topic in history, I would create screencasts of me reviewing essential content where students had then go and watch those videos on their as homework, which freed up class time to do more in-depth, really more in-depth instruction of other means, meaning like I spend more time on document analysis, I can spend more time on cooperative learning projects, I can spend more time on analyzing certain things of history. So it was a wonderful way for me to do all the things I wanted to do, but always felt pressured because I didn't have enough time to cover the content. So it transformed the way I taught. I've been doing the flipped classroom now for about 6-7 years. Okay, so if I go to like a simple screencast, I started off doing really simple, I thought kind of boring things.
Hello,
where
everyone.
I would,
Welcome to the first
I'll be quiet for a second.
Chapter 27 study guide, the politics and culture of abundance. Abundance, right? So much, you know, almost too much. More than
The volume's kind of low. I'll just pause. I'll just kind of talk over it. But this was actually a screencast of me basically recording a study guide where I would go over all the parts of the study guide, even like the essential questions. And it was just, at first, you know, looking back on it now, I thought, boy, this is really boring. But I got more accustomed to doing it. And that's kind of how I started off, where I would go over, you know, class assignments like this, and the students would watch these recordings for review mostly. Okay? Now, another way is that they got more sophisticated. And this is an example of how I use Camtasia to make more sophisticated videos.
Hello everyone, and welcome to the next video.
Let me play this for you for a second.
On AP World History. During this particular series of videos, we are going to discuss classical civilization. Now, a key thing here is understanding what in the world does classical mean. We have classical cars, we have classical movies, we have classical TV shows. But what does that mean in terms of classical civilization or even classical empire? Well, two words are key here. Classical means innovative, right? Something fresh, something new, and also enduring, meaning that its impact has lasted well beyond the time of its own existence. So you think of that classical car, still very cool. Think of that classical movie, that classical TV show, right? That was fresh and new, but still even 20, 30, 40, 50 years later, still makes us laugh or cry or smile. So keep that in mind as we discuss these classical empires and classical civilizations, and thank you for watching.
Okay, I'll pause. That was the opening intro. And then if you fast forward a little through the video, it's basically me going through a slide deck.
As we look at the classical empires.
Like you might do in class.
Now, with that said and done, factors in creating an empire.
Okay, I'll stop it there. So this is more of an advanced screencast, obviously. And I use that Camtasia software, which I have having problems with right now. I want to show you what it might look like as a project. But that was all layered. I did my little intro video first, using my cell phone of myself. Then I made that kind of dramatic sort of opening using iMovie on my iPad, saved that video. And then I used a screencasting software to screencast my slides, my PowerPoint slides. And I kind of put them all together here on Camtasia, where I added those like images of Seinfeld popping up, or the little like innovative enduring sign. And that's just a way that you could build it. Now again, this is back to the basics, right? That's not basic. But I just wanted to show you that as you get more comfortable and feel more confident, that's really not hard to do. I didn't go to film school. I didn't study in film editing. And it's just a lot of fun. Okay, so what I have my students do is a lot of digital storytelling. So my students now have to make their own videos, and they have to research a topic. They have to go through it, and they have to think about all these issues. And then I just give basic overviews of some of the major tools out there that they can use. Ones I've been talking about today, like Snagit and Camtasia and Screencastify, to make their own digital stories. And these are great projects. The students love doing these. And I can give you some examples quickly, and then we'll get to some questions. So I have storyboards. You can look through this. They have to create a storyboard. Here's some video examples. Just really, this is all student content. They made this all themselves.
Food is coming from the sky? Where did it come from? I think I see something. It's an American plane. This was the Berlin airlift. The Cold War era was ridden with tension between the Soviet Union and the United States, Britain, and France. This tension stemmed from the results of World War II that left the bombarded Germany to be divided among the Allied powers. This division was the catalyst that the Soviet Union needed to expand its power. They saw the opportunity and took
All right,
it
I'll
before
stop
it
that
left
one.
their
She did a
reach.
great job.
This
There's a
led
lot
to
of historical photographs and really neat things in it. Okay. This student was really great. She did one on her great uncle in World War II, and that was really kind of neat.
Joseph William, or Joe Fedor, was my great-grandfather. His life has always intrigued and fascinated me. All I really knew was that he fought in World War II. The rest was unknown. I've always wanted to learn more about him. This is his story. Joe was born March 16th,
I'll stop there.
1916 to
She had great family photographs, and it was a really powerful story. He actually died during World War II. Students literally had tears in their eyes watching her video. So, these are really fun, creative, powerful projects, and they were all powered by using Drive and using these tools and collaborating and using Google Docs. So again, this is advanced, but I just want to show you what the possibilities are. Now, for the rest of this Google Doc, I have some great insights about screencasting, how you should think about screencasting, and also about the flipped classroom. There's some nice topics here. John Bergman is a great individual to get started with the flipped classroom. He's kind of like the guru of it. I've had a chance to work with John at many conferences and summits, and I've been interviewed for a couple of his books. And there's some great places to kind of start learning about, that's John, about the flipped classroom and how it actually works. So there's tons of resources. I tried to pick through some of the best ones for you that you can kind of start to think about how you might want to use this with your own classes, no matter what grade level or curriculum. Okay, so that really kind of ends my spiel, and I hope that made sense to you. So I'll be happy to answer any questions. Thank you.
Okay, if you do have any questions, or if there's something that you want Ron to go over again, please ask them in the questions box on your screen. For our first question, are any of these apps available for an iPhone?
Okay, great question. You can, on an iPhone, it's hard to actually capture the screen of your iPhone as a screencasting software. But there is an app that you could do on your iPhone called Explain Everything. And it works on iPhone, Android. It works also on tablet or a phone. And it basically turns your device, as you kind of see it here being sort of animated. This could be also on a smaller iPhone screen. It's easier on the iPad because it's bigger. And I have my iPad, and it does work. I didn't have it ready to go today. I could have showed you my iPad screen. But you can basically go to a website and create a video of it, and you can add annotations and add arrows and add all that really kind of neat stuff. There's also a Chrome app. It kind of goes through it. There's Apple, Android, Chrome app. And it works really, 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 really well. So I hope that helps you.
Another question, is there a good name brand for a microphone and headphone set to create screencasts, or simply use the laptop mic?
Yeah, I'll give you an example. I put on this sheet, it's a great question too, and if you go down to the sheet where I mentioned microphone, and I put this link up there, and it talks about like reviews for microphones. This is the one I was actually looking for. I apologize. The link did change. If you actually go to Amazon, and we could do this really, really quickly. And I go talk about, I'll just type in, I use a USB microphone. And we'll go all departments. And there's a lot of really good ones. And you see the prices vary, like $40, and some of them are more expensive, like $22. It's not too bad. You know, the $8 ones are fine, but what happens is sometimes the quality is made out of plastic, and depending on how much you're going to like move that microphone around, it could get broken. And you know, there's a lot of really, 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 really good ones. I'm using a microphone that's produced by Samson, but it's the Meteor microphone. And let me see if I could just, I think they'd spell it Meteor, E-O-R, I think it's what it is. Weird spelling of Meteor. There it is. This is one that I'm using. It is expensive, but it's really durable. It's all metal. It's all chrome. The little legs fold up. And it's like super portable, and the sound quality on it is absolutely awesome. But when I'm using my Chromebook, I do a lot of screencasting from my Chromebook, and I just use the internal mic on the Chromebook, and it's fine. So it's really up to you. It depends where you're recording to. As you know, if you're in a very busy place, you know, a very loud place, you're going to pick up a lot of outside static. So you got to be careful of that. But if you're in a quiet room by yourself, like I am right now, and there's not a lot of problem with it. So hope that helps you.
Next question. My students are studying English as a foreign language, and so they often need subtitles. Do any of the tools you showed allow subtitles to be added to a video and downloaded with the video?
That's a really, really good question, and I have never tried that. But I know when you upload to YouTube, there are some options for subtitles. I'm sorry, I've never been asked that question. That's a really important question. Since I don't teach, other than English, I never thought about that. So I don't know if I can answer your question completely, but I'm sure there is a way. And I'm not sure if you upload to YouTube, it does it automatically or not. So if I go to closed captioning, I don't know. See, set video language. See, something new. Might learn something new here today. I go set English, and I don't know. If I go to
Hello
press
everyone,
play,
and welcome to the next video in AP World History. During this particular series of videos, we are going to discuss classical
I don't see
civilization.
it. But now that I'm remembering, excuse me, be patient with me. As I was learning how to use Camtasia, I remember that they did have the ability to collect captions. So it must be a extra special thing you have to do when you use the program. I've never have done that. So you might have to invest in more of the expensive software like this one, Camtasia Studio, rather than just doing some of the usual ones. If I went to like Screencastify, I never have seen the options for collecting captions. So that must be for more of a advanced software. Okay, so hope that helps you. I'm sorry I couldn't give you a better answer, but I've never actually quite looked into that. So.
Okay, another question. Do you have any students using video to send a response when they receive the video that you send them?
Yes. Now, in our online program, yes. I have had students, that's how we're now starting to communicate since we're in a completely online atmosphere. It's been really nice to give a video as a reply to a post and then have that student reply through a video. We can't all meet together at the same time in a synchronous, that's the term, a synchronous atmosphere where we're all together like we are for this webinar. So it's kind of nice for us to do that back and forth. I have not had my students do that as a class project, but I can imagine that it would be super easy for them to actually do that because all of these tools are super easy to use for them especially, and I've had them make their own videos, so for them to make their own like video recordings as a reply would be very, very doable.
Another question, do you recommend scripting screencasts or are spontaneous recordings better?
Great. You know what? I've done both. It's a matter of time. The scripted ones are great, and I've done those. For the ones I showed you that were the more sophisticated ones, I showed you with that neat introduction, I sort of scripted it, meaning where I had notes on my slides that I wanted to go over specifically, and I went carefully. You can also pause. That's a nice thing to keep in mind. If you want to pause your screencast, collect your thoughts, maybe turn a page in a notebook or whatever you're doing, and then start the recording again, no one knows that you're pausing. So it looks really, really, really good. But for something like really quick, I've just done it off the cuff. Now, one time I had a student who was going to be away. He had a series of concussions, and he was going to be out of school for a long time. And this was a class where I normally didn't flip the class. So anytime we did any direct instruction, I actually did live screencasts just from what we did in class. So even though it was a live class atmosphere, you could hear students asking questions. I just made recordings from that, and the student loved that. So it's a matter of time commitment, right? You might not want to start flipping everything and making videos for everything. You always want to start perhaps with like one lesson, then maybe branch off to one unit or one module, and then just kind of build slowly. If you feel maybe next year you're going to do a lot of this flipped classroom stuff, make your videos perhaps now and then use them for next year and make them live. So it's a matter of what you have to invest in, right? All of us are awful busy. So that's usually my recommendation.
Okay, great. Another question. Do you have any feedback from students as to whether they find flipped learning more effective, not just more enjoyable?
It's really good comment. I did a lot of, when I started doing this, I was actually in the midst of writing a chapter for a book on the flipped classroom. So I did it as an investigation at the same time. So I did a lot of surveys for my students. Now, I don't want to get too much into it, but when I was first started flipping my classroom, I only used YouTube, and I would try to keep, back to that closed captioning. See, I guess you can actually do it yourself. I'm sorry. But I would only use YouTube as a means to deliver my content. So students, I would kind of judge by how many views a video got. And that was really sort of a poor way to see if students were actually watching it. So then you have to certainly build in things like in class, how do you assess if they watched the video? You might ask them questions about it. Can they, do they really know what's going on? But there's a wonderful tool that I use now, and I'll put the link into the Google Doc called Edpuzzle. And if you're not familiar with Edpuzzle, what Edpuzzle is, it's a great way to monitor whether or not students are watching a video. And I have all my classes up here. And these are the videos that I've created. Now it says 100%. That means that 100% of the students watch that video. And if I go to like progress, it will tell me exactly who watched it, when they watched it. And if I click on a certain student's name, it tells me exactly, how much, they watched of it. They watched this section twice, as they might have not understood something, which is kind of neat. And, you can go back to like other students and see what like they did. They just kind of watched it straight through. You could also embed questions. Multiple choice questions, true false questions, short answer questions. And you have to answer the question anytime in the video. So if I go to, you could also post any YouTube video here. So it could be other people's content. So I use my own content, ones that I created, and I also use like things like Crash Course. Crash Course is a great series on YouTube that does great videos on like a lot of topics. And if I go to grade, I can show you that I had them respond to questions. I had to grade their questions or grade their responses to the video and things like that. So that's a nice tool to check. And let me go to my content. I can show you what I'm talking about here. And here's an example of a Crash Course video. And if I went to like edit it, I can't edit now because they're already made. But see, I embedded questions at the beginning and at the end, but you can embed a question anywhere you want in the video. So it's kind of a neat way to check if they're actually watching it. And when I started doing that, I noticed better results because I knew students were actually watching the videos. They weren't just saying that they were. And students, at least my students, like this. They've been honest through surveys that they felt that they had time to pause, go back. But you got to be careful. You got to be careful how you assign your homework now. If students are going to spend 10 minutes a night watching a video or 20 minutes another night watching a video, keep that into consideration that now you might have to draw back on what you might have assigned outside of school. And the goal is now to bring that stuff into the classroom, where now you could talk about actually applying the material rather than teaching the material what it is. You can actually now work with it. And students really like that. So hope that answers your question.
And is that a free tool?
Yes, I'm sorry. Yes, Edpuzzle is completely free, which is absolutely awesome, right? There is no premium feature to it, which is really, really, really great. So it is a free tool.
Okay, another question.
Oh, one more thing I want to mention. I'm sorry, Lauren. We're doing a session next week on Google Classroom. Go back to Edpuzzle. Once you create your, I don't want to get ahead of yourselves, but once you create your Google Classroom, let me get back to my classes. See, there's a Google Classroom symbol, and you can import your classes right from Google Classroom. So this is right in line with what we're doing with Google, how you could use this tool right with Classroom directly, and you can actually post your Edpuzzle assignments directly to Google Classroom. So if I go to a new assignment that's not due yet, and if I go post, it posts it right to Google Classroom, which is really awesome, right? So right now it's going to post it right there. And if I go to my Google Classroom feed, this webinar is not about Google Classroom, but the next one is, this will show up right away in my Classroom feed. So if I go to, that was AP World, I believe, and they're going to freak out when I do this because it didn't update it yet. It will update it, and unless I had to hit one more thing. Oh, I'm sorry. I had to hit assign. And I hit assign, and now it's going to appear in my Google Classroom feed. So if I just refresh this, check it out. It's going to be there. And there's the Edpuzzle assignment that I just assigned. So it works seamlessly with Google Classroom as well. So again, a little bit off what we were going to do today, but we're doing more on Google Classroom in our next session. So I hope that helps you.
Okay, another question. Is there anything to look out for when doing screencasts, things that may not work correctly? For the most part, I haven't had a lot of problems. If you're using the tools that I taught you today, as long as you're using Google Chrome, it works seamlessly. Screencastify and Snagit work great on Google Chrome. You can't use it on other browsers. And Screencast-O-Matic, for the most part, works great. I used it through Internet Explorer. I use it through different browsers. There hasn't been a lot of problems. Honestly, I use Screencastify a lot. That's kind of my favorite tool right now. I love Snagit for the annotations of images, and that's worked flawlessly. Another question. Are you finding that students are more receptive to video, learning from it and using it?
I think it's just what they're now becoming accustomed to. Again, if you want to find out how to do anything, right, you just go to YouTube and how do you make a pie crust? How do you do something, right? It's all on there. So I think they're really receptive to it. I think they like that means of instruction. I'll tell you the truth. Once in a while, when I have to go back and do, if I want to call it a lecture in class, I see that they kind of glaze over automatically again. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just me that I don't really do that much in class anymore. So perhaps I'm not on my game in a sense, but it just seems that they really much more rather, at least my students, love to be engaged in class, and we're doing a lot of things that they're working with material. They're creating the content. For me, the biggest transition when I first started teaching 15 years ago, the idea was I thought I had to be the gatekeeper of all knowledge, that I had to be the one to tell them what was going to, important. And that's changed for me. And, again, they can go anywhere they want. They could Google anything they want. They could, go to Wikipedia and find an article about something, whether or not it's a good source or not. It's another debate. But the point is that I'd rather have them working with content. I'd rather have them creating content. And I think they retain better when they're actually creating rather than just passively listening.
this might be our last question, so make sure if you haven't asked any questions that you do those right now. Who do we contact if we would like to present again at the EdTech Summit?
Oh, awesome. And thank you. Please, you want to email me, that'll be fine. I have not, this is all really the link for that website that I just showed you went live moments ago, literally like today. So there'll be a call for presenters soon. And once I get that, I will share it out through our Twitter. I'll share it out through our, social media. And if you want to email me directly, I'll be happy to, because I'm one of the main organizers of the event. So I'll be happy to add you to our speakers list, because I don't think there's not a call for it yet. No, there's certainly not. So they'll add that soon, but I'll send out that link. It's usually an invitation link. So if you want to contact me directly, please do so at the email that I indicated at the top of this page. Okay? Be happy to have you present at our summit.
One other question is, will we post this webinar? Yes, we will be posting the webinar. You will also be receiving a certificate of completion, which will include links to both the presentation there and also the video presentation. And I think that's it for questions. So thank you so much, Ron. Like I said, everyone will be emailed either tomorrow or Friday. We'll also send you more information about the final webinar in our series. And we encourage you to continue the tech conversation on social media using the hashtag CanisiusEdTech.
Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. I hope you enjoyed this. Thank you very much.